Hi, I'm host Eric. Great to be here. I just flew in from New York, and boy, are my arms tired.
Oh,
It's a classic joke. It's a classic.
that is a classic joke, I have to say.
Um, when titles elude the wisest of men, what do you do? Well, you title your video "When Titles Elude the Wisest of Men." I just woke up from an extended nap.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel
So
just
did
had a
I.
little nap too.
Yeah.
That's some woman flesh there.
Thank you, sir. I do appreciate you appreciating me as a female.
Yeah,
As a woman.
You're all woman.
Yeah.
You're what they refer to as a juicer in the worm collecting business.
Thank you.
If you were a worm,
juicer, a worm.
If you were a worm, you'd be a juicer.
Yay.
I haven't pulled any bong rips in hours now because I've been sleeping.
Yes, you have.
And I don't normally pull bong rips in my sleep.
No, you don't.
So now is the time to pull a couple of bong rips.
I think that's appropriate. Hi, Peter.
We're on curfew again. It's after curfew. It's 7 p.m. It's still light out, but we have to stay inside. I think bedtime's 9 o'clock tonight, maybe. The County of Los Angeles is going to start giving us all a bedtime pretty soon.
Good evening, Zaylen Black.
Hi, Zaylen Black, a.k.a. April.
April, or Zaylen Black, actually. What do you prefer for me to call you? Do you like Zaylen Black better?
Or do you like Breeder? Because he popped out 4 kids. Breeder. That's the gay people's insult to straight people.
Is that serious?
Yeah, that's the slur that gay people use for straight people is breeder.
Wow.
Breeders.
Okay, cool, Zaylen. It stays.
Yeah, I was sleeping. Rachel was sleeping. We had a good, busy morning. We live streamed a bit. We listened to our book that we're listening to, which is just muy espectacular. And we napped. My dad went out of town actually today, but he's back now.
Mm-hmm.
He went down to Palm Desert. First time he's gone since COVID.
Seems to be in a good mood. He dropped something there, so it's nice to see him. Surprise, too.
Mom! I was wondering how you're doing over there in Sunrise. I'm glad to see that you are being given internet access.
Yes, and I'm glad that you are improving.
Yeah, you're really showing a lot of improvement from last time I saw you.
Yeah, good typing skills.
It's crazy in Cali with the curfew. It's not. I've not seen any rioting or experienced any kind of thing to justify the curfew at all. I've not seen anything like that. But we get this text like yesterday. The text that I got said, "Extreme safety." Let's see. Public safety alert, but there was another one that here, extreme alert. Curfew now. Look at this. Extreme alert. Why would it title itself that? Extreme alert.
Well, I was getting updates on my phone too, like all day. Let me see. Yeah, public safety. Look, all that.
Yeah, it's for tonight, right?
I don't know.
I mean, assuming you got it today, right?
See. Look at that. Look at that. Look how big that is. There's all these it says if you have a job and you want to go to work, don't worry about it. Basically. Right. If you work in these certain
certain industries.
Areas of, yeah.
But nevertheless, it's the case that
Hi, Winston's mom.
I did respond now, your mom. I responded to you. Hello.
Hello. How are you? Won't you tell me your name?
Many women long for what eludes them and like not what is offered them. That's a very fancy way of saying women are difficult to satisfy. Women are never satisfied. It's kind of a true thing. It's like, I saw this one show, this one movie. I want to see it again. I want to see it with you. I want to see it again just because it's stuck with me so much. It's called Rich People or something like that. I don't know what it was called. It's not a real movie. It's a movie that was like a Netflix original or a Hulu original or something like that, And the thing that split up this couple was after the guy who was, like an investment banker or something, had redone their whole house and made it all just like what the wife wanted. She's like, gosh, I just really wish we had gotten the warming oven so that, there's a place to put food to warm it if you have to wait 15 minutes before you serve it or something, And the guy just was like, okay, that's it. I'm gone. I'm leaving you because I've done all of this shit to make this house exactly what you wanted it to be. And the final thing you say after it's all done is, gosh, I really wish we had gotten the warming of it. Well, fuck off,
Wow, I want to see that movie. That sounds deep. Was it?
It was really good. I just have no idea what it's called.
Man.
I have no idea what it's called. But it's the same movie that it's like the kid of another rich couple. He's working as a liquor store delivery guy, and he goes to the house of this other kid from his same class, same generation, right? But that kid went the rich people's route, and he's got his own house in the rich neighborhood now. And so it's like there's the guy working as a liquor store delivery guy, and his used to be sort of same peer, right? Except now they're on different.
Oh,
it was really good. It started a gray-haired guy, like a silver fox guy, and he was single again, and he was going out and there's this scene where he goes to have intercourse, but he can't ejaculate because his prostate.
So funny. That's really funny.
And then he's like, he feels all like lame about himself and stuff. Oh, well, yeah, I didn't wait a very long time hanging here. That's why. I assumed nobody was going to comment, so I just bailed.
You know what? Dylan Black, we missed you.
You're not feeling well, and the internet's like...
So sometimes that happens. I've tried to go into Whereby several times, and it'll be like someone will be in there for a while, and then they'll leave, and then they'll be in there for a little while, and they're like, okay, I'll go in, and no one's there. So, oh, good.
You found a bud.
That's good.
You found floor weed? Is that what you're trying to say? Floor weed is also always among the grandest of finds. When you're out of weed, when you're out of weed and the floor provides, that's it's a good moment.
Mm-hmm. It really is.
Yeah, the rooms are, I think, gonna slowly come back into being because I still put the link up on every video I make, and now that the spite monkeys are no longer in there poisoning the place, it should be pretty pleasant if we can get some decent people in there,
Yeah, I think so. I'm not. I think it'll still be nice. Yeah, if I'm zoning out or whatever.
Yeah, sometimes there are people in there, sometimes they're not. But the thing is, at least if you do go there, it's not just people determined to poison everybody against me.
Right.
And
it's like, yeah, people who really want to be there.
Yeah. So the Spite Monkeys are up their own room and they're doing that shit there for a while. And if you want to be a Spite Monkey, you can go join them in their rooms. You know? So that's fine. They've got their own rooms now. And
oh, do they?
Yeah, I mean, I've never been there, but I know Becky has rooms, and like April goes there sometimes, and other people go there, and yeah, it's like that's fine. It's appropriate that the Spite Monkeys should have their own place to hate me from, and they should have their own clubhouse where they get to hate Eric all the time. That's perfectly reasonable and acceptable. You know, they just can't do it in my clubhouse.
That's cool, because like it sounds like me. Like I would go out and about, and then I'd still try to talk to people.
Well, I want to recommend to you, Angantir, a book. Okay. Oh, well, I mean, it's underlying everything they do. Basically, whether or not it comes up explicitly or not, it's underlying everything they do because they're just devoted haters. But regardless, I mean, all you got to do to make it come up, Salem Black, is say one positive thing about me, and you just watch how fast it comes out. You just
That's
watch.
That's how you can tell.
Yeah, I'm sure as long as everyone is adhering to the don't mention Eric rule, hating Eric doesn't come up at all. And then as soon as somebody mentions anything positive about me, it's immediately, you know, evident what the reality is. I don't care if people are gossipy or not. I don't care if they are haters or not. But I'm not going to pretend that they're not. I'm not going to pretend that Becky and Hoary Clown are not irredeemable scumbags. They are. We're not going to pretend otherwise. Well, I mean, that's the thing, Zayden Black. I am mentioning it. I hope it does continue going. It just proves my point, right? I don't back down. I'm not like TE or organized like that. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to stop talking about them so that they go away. I'm going to keep talking about them so they don't get to go away. So they have to address the thing that I'm saying, right? Accountability, Zaylin, it's the key to all goodness in the world. And a refusal to be accountable, as demonstrated by Becky and Hoary Clown, is the source of all evil in the world. And it's very cut and dry. I was saying the Black, I'm not talking about conversations. What I said is underlying those people, the fundamental hatred of me and the fundamental evil that cannot be denied, and they're scumbags. After all, remember, this. I'm talking about the woman who emailed my dad a bunch of defaming shit about me out of the blue because she didn't like me talking about her on the internet, right? Okay, you've got to understand, people either have or lack character. And whether or not you like them or not, that's fine. I'm not trying to tell you how to feel about them. I'm saying, let's not lie about it. Let's not lie about it. They don't have any character. And that's the fact. So, you know, do and see whatever you want. What I'm saying is, don't lie about the people that you're hanging out with.
Right.
I mean, they don't have to be good people. You're not required to hang out with only good people. Nobody's trying to say that. It doesn't make you a bad person. Nobody's trying to say that. I'm just saying, don't lie about the people you're talking about. They are awful human beings.
Yeah, they're mean.
They're racist too, oddly enough. It's such a weak thing to be, right? They're it's like
who are they racist?
Towards Jason Blood, you know.
So weird.
It's so weird. It's like such a weak argument. Why would you even go there?
Exactly. I remember that. I forgot about that. See, like,
yeah, they're fucking scumbags. I don't know.
No more.
No more drama. No more drama. I was just talking about the Raw rooms, and April disputed one thing I was saying about the scumbags. And my point is, it's irrelevant whether the scumbags are doing behaviors X, Y, or Z right now or in any given moment. They're still fundamentally scumbags, as evidenced by their already well-established pattern of bad behavior. Like, Hoary Clown does nothing but lie. So she's a wicked person.
Has she been in the mix lately?
For a while. Last time I saw her was probably a few weeks ago. I mean, I wouldn't bring up the subject at all. It was when I'm talking about the rooms and mentioning that the Spite Monkeys have their own little clubhouse. And Zaylin's like, oh, no, there's not a lot of spite going on over there. Well, I mean, come on, Zaylin. Don't lie to yourself. Those people are scumbags.
You mostly hung out with the SE Doms and everyone was... That's interesting.
I agree they're more than just a problem with other people. You're right. They're first and foremost, an expression of character or lack thereof. They are moral agents first and foremost. And we have a duty to condemn moral wickedness when we see it. Regardless of whether we're condemning the person as a whole, that only happens when you display to me a repeated pattern of wickedness with a refusal to be accountable. Then we dismiss you as a person as a whole. And that's what is deserved by those people. Well deserved. As well established by their behavior that I've already talked about. It's not like this is a point in dispute. Well, we're right back to normal right now, Dark Prince. Why? Because I'm arguing about the Spite Monkeys. What could be more normal than that? That's called TWFP 101.
Yeah, this is America. This is definitely norm. Nah, I don't think we're in a downward spiral.
No, she's going to get, who knows what's going to happen. You know, it's like, listen, Dark Prince, if you were so good at predicting what was going to happen, you would have predicted all this bullshit.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, you're terrible at predicting what's going to happen, so why should we presume that your downward spiral prediction is correct? You didn't predict any of this.
I mean, what is normal? What is normal?
I hope you smacked her, Zaylin Black. If she was pro-rioters.
I'm glad.
No, stoning to death is not the penalty. It's $2,000 fine. Kyra, you owe me $2,000.
Oh. I'm glad that you're here too.
There'd be no benefit. There'd be no. You did predict this, really? Or some vague thing like bad stuff's going to happen, society's going to fall apart. That's what you predicted, right? Yeah, but everyone's been predicting that for all of time, and they've always been wrong. Just because things are fucked up at the moment doesn't mean human ingenuity can't solve.
Just look at the 60s.
Well, Dark Prince is saying we're in a downward spiral of society. I'm saying let's not make the mistake we just learned about COVID. Let's not.
Don't do that.
Let's not be stupid again.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It is lesson, exactly.
Hi, Octavio Silva.
Hi, Octavio Silva.
Listen, Zaylin Black, there's no cause for protesting or rage right now because, and I know you're on my side of this, I'm not trying to argue with you here, but because they did the right thing about these cops. They fired them and they arrested the one and charged them with murder. There's nothing more that they can expect, and so there's nothing to protest. I was telling Angie about my cat, Inine Arnold's fried chicken. She won't eat the nibbles and looks confused, and now she's sitting near the main door waiting for the food delivery man. Do you think the COVID lockdown has confused your cat?
I think so too. It sounds like it. It does sound like it.
Well, we just had our farm jobs. Every day on the farm here, we have to milk the peacock and feed the horse cats.
Yeah.
We have Trouble come by. Trouble comes by for his cat food.
Mm-hmm.
And then Pete comes by. Pete comes by for his ancient grains and his Cheetos. Pee-Pee's watching imperiously from the chair next to me because as long as I'm next to her, she's perfectly brave about Trouble. She knows Trouble won't come by.
Yeah, same here. Same here. Like,
but if we're not next to her,
we're like buddies. Like, I'll go to the bathroom late at night. She knows he's like outside by there, and I'll open up the door and I'll be like, okay, you can pee out if you want, because she feels safe because she knows that I'm there. That's cute. So that with you too.
These are just cycles. Protests should always be peaceful. I don't think there are any major changes especially due to the violent nature of the protest. No, well, it's not going to bring any changes in the area where they're supposedly seeking change. But again, these protests are not really about that. They're really about COVID. It's displaced. Yeah. It's displaced anger about COVID is what it is.
Yeah.
Which is not the divide and conquer bullshit. It's being on the right side of history rather than just what is right. I agree with that. I agree. It's about being on the right side of history.
Yeah.
So one thing I wanted to say, Rachel, is I'm not sure about this weed. I think it's a little headachy.
And average.
But I liked the sativa-y one more, even though it was a little less stony.
I know. I agree with you.
Because it was less headache.
I like the other one too. I don't remember the name of the other one, but I like it better.
It's Berry Kush.
Oh, I like it better.
Yeah,
the other one better too. I agree with you.
Look, this is actually. I think this is maybe slightly, maybe more stony, but it's got kind of a dirty feel to it. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like dirty weed, you know?
Yeah, I hear you. I'm in agreement.
Now we cannot go get more weed right now, of course, because we're on curfew. We don't want to get in trouble by getting home after curfew.
There's this crazy kids. Wild and crazy kids.
ENTPs are incapable of shifting frame real creativity. It's risk-averse hedging bets on the conventional. Okay, well, that's something they call projection. Just because your position is less conventional than mine doesn't mean it's more right. Duh. And I'm not making an affirmation. You are. I'm negating your affirmation. Duh.
I like the way you put that ink into your hair. I like weed that makes me feel out the gate. It's taking like a actual term that people use. Like, I didn't really like him right out the gate.
Risk-averse hedging bets on the conventional means refusing to believe things that might be paradigm shifting. Well, that's ridiculous. The ENTPs are the ones who came up with the notion of the black swan, the unpredictable solution that may invalidate and make moot all the certain policy actions we take right now. And it's a hugely significant factor to consider, the black swan event. You know, it's why you don't want to make better buggy whips right before the invention of cars, right? So that's a black swan event that makes your buggy whip business moot and deprecated. And so you've got to understand that a lot of solutions to a lot of things are things that we cannot anticipate in advance. That's genuine understanding of creativity. It's recognizing the limits of human creativity. I can't necessarily anticipate what the black swan event is that may come and change everything. But it doesn't mean that it's not reasonably likely that such a black swan event will occur. So we ought always be careful about jumping to firm conclusions, especially when we're trying to justify policy advocacy with that. So, okay, The long and the short of this, Prince of Darkness is Dark Prince is, Dark Prince, you should sit back and listen to Eric. He understands things more clearly than you do. It's more well thought out. I understand what all the arguments are. So your little pet arguments that you're in love with don't stand a chance. Right. Nothing, very few good things in the world were accomplished by violence. World War II is this horrible example that leads us astray because it's the anomaly. It's the exception. It's the one war that was good. All the other wars are completely fucking bullshit, right? But they're justified. People justify them with World War II. Yes, fighting a war was necessary in World War II. It was a good thing to do. Because you had an autocratic tyrant who was actively conquering countries all around Europe and actively going to conquer the whole world, you know? Yep. You doubt the cop would have been arrested until the riots? Well, look, he was arrested on day 3. He was arrested on day 3, and the riots really began after that, around the same time. Maybe the protests, the initial protests were peaceful. I don't agree with that, though. I think that with the nature of this particular video and the history that we have behind us and all the previous protests and shit, I'm pretty sure that people were going to do something about this one, regardless. People are sick of it, you know, understandably. This doesn't help. Rioting is not ever acceptable. You cannot, somebody else could justify committing a crime, does not justify you committing a crime. Period. That's it. Being mad doesn't justify committing a crime. That cop being mad didn't justify killing that guy. You being mad about that cop killing that guy doesn't justify you rioting. It's that fucking simple. You know? Don't be speciest. Alien lives matter.
Thank you.
That's what Engantir said.
Oh, thanks, Engantir. They do. Aliens do matter. Because, like, I feel alien-like. You're pretty alien-like. You have alien fingers.
Yeah. I saw on a stoplight pole, somebody had taped a sign that says Black Lives Matter. I want to tape a sign underneath that says sometimes in parentheses.
Yeah. That's good. That's really good. I like that.
Nyan? What's Nyan?
Thanks, Funny Fox. Where are you?
You know, Brendan Fox, if you are under the impression that I'm hoping everybody is unsafe, you're wrong. Oh, you're in San Bernardino? I hear shit got a little nutty there. Is that right? How's San Bernardino going? Nyan means meow meow. Cool.
Oh yeah, not the 9, like the cat with the rainbow.
Don't know. So Ronnie Fox is in San Bernardino. That's not fight. Thank you, Upton Plates 48. I don't know if Rachel really loves being reduced to a trophy wife, but I appreciate the positive regard for her appearance.
So, like, I feel like
you have mixed feelings about that, probably, huh?
Is that what I am?
You, of course not. You're my soulmate.
Okay, cool.
But it just so happens my soulmate's my hot trophy wife too. The thing you don't like is the trophy wife. If you're my hot wife, you'd be fine with that. You just don't like the trophy part, huh?
Yeah, because I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm useless.
No, the trophy part implies that, yeah, you're just arm candy or something.
Yeah.
No, you're my soulmate.
Okay.
You're my best friend.
Yay.
and my special lady.
Thank you for explaining
and
that
my
to
hot
me.
wife.
Thank you, baby. Just thank you for explaining that, because that's all I know. Because we're taught, like, I'm a reader.
Yeah, and grok is a word. It's a word that originated in a science fiction novel by Robert Heinlein, and it means basically to understand holistically.
Holistically, it's a great word.
Hey, Archangel, listen, staying indoors is not enough. The problem is you've been looking at pictures and reading things. You need to stop that. That's dangerous. You need to just meow, 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 all the time.
Everyone stay safe. I mean, really.
Okay, but don't be afraid to be a little bit reckless.
No, I mean, if you know your area, right? Like, I feel like if you know your area's rights and stuff, I'm saying be safe.
Yeah, I was just joking. I don't really mean be reckless. Have you had any riots in 10 days?
New Zealand hasn't had any?
What's IIRC mean? In internal rectal chamber? In internal rectal chamber?
New York has a lot of old people in it.
Who's this guy? Me? I took all my stuff from Socionics.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was you.
Yeah, I certainly took a lot of ideas from Socionics. I studied all the other systems before I fixed them. That's true. I didn't start from scratch. I took these broken systems and I fixed them. That's correct. So naturally, I started with another system that needed to be fixed. Is there something wrong with fixing things?
No.
Dark Prince? Is fixing things looting? I don't think fixing things is looting. I never claimed to make the whole thing up. What makes you think I would claim that? All right, fine. Horse Mumbler, of course, there's plenty of counterexamples to my World War II thing.
What's up?
Horse Mumbler got to roll in here and correct me.
What? About what?
Well, I said World War II was the only good war, but there's plenty other good wars. I agree. Okay, you win. Angantier, that's good thinking. Time for coffee. I like that.
I can't remember the other good wars.
Well, the American Revolution.
Oh, yeah!
Oh,
my God.
Yeah.
That was a great war. How, fantastico.
The War of 1812. He's also fond of the First Barbary War, which is the war against pirates. Okay, fine, Horse Mumbler.
Okay, I'm happy.
Fine.
Now I know. Now we know.
We know now.
I'm glad.
Never forget the First Barbary War again. I will never forget
1812, never forgotten. It was a good war. There was a lot of fur trading.
There was a lot of fur trading during the War of 1812. Horse Mumbler, you know what? If you want to learn something about 1860s, make sure you listen to my live stream from last night where I tell an important story about Faye in the 1860s.
Yeah. It's a good one.
Right? Secretly a vampire conspiracy theory. Yeah. Masks are useful in slowing down COVID. That's why I'm constantly wearing masks.
You sound like you're in a commercial.
Yeah. Curious Cairo may be onto something here. It's possible that these current riots are actually about the War of 1812.
Why not?
Might as well be. Then they have something to actually protest. Don't underestimate that unassuming object. I wish we had never underestimated it in the first place. We wouldn't have had this lockdown. If you just make everybody wear masks, okay, whatever. It's fucked up, but so be it. It is the most likely possibility. Protests tend to be delayed by about 200 years, give or take 8 years.
Yeah.
No, it really depends on what they were advocating in as the alternative. So it's not the case that, that the North Korean War, was we should have won the Korean War instead of giving up.
We gave up?
Yeah. We quit. We quit.
Really?
And we had South Korea and gave up North Korea. And that's why the DPRK exists,
Really?
Yeah, we should have pushed forward and won the... I have too many yaysayers? Me, Dark Prince? Oh my God, are you batting zero today? I am the most critiqued person on the internet. Everybody's looking to tear me down. Yourself is a perfect example. People come at me left and right, day after day, attacking everything they think they can attack. Most of them, like you, don't have any real points to make. I have an entire team of people called the Spite Monkeys who are dedicated to doing nothing but harm me for no reason. Yeah, is Countess a yaysayer? Who here thinks they're a yaysayer? Jason Blood, are you always agreeing with what I say?
Definitely not.
How about you, Swift Eagle? For God's sakes, Dark Prince, try a little harder. Come up with something that stings a little bit. Instead of just being insanely, incalculably wrong. Well, we should have just fucking gone and done it anyway. If you're going to do it right. But, that was the attitude in Vietnam and it didn't work out. Okay, well, here's the thing, Mark Dan. You have what's called a predetermined conclusion. You might see more demonstrative FI from me than you would from somebody you determined as a real ENTP. But if I'm not a real ENTP, what type am I? I am actually about as close to the textbook type description of an ENTP as you're ever going to get, right? I'm a actual professional debate coach, okay? I make music that's very extrovertedly intuitive. I do philosophy stuff. I'm obviously TI. I'm doing the best job I can with my FE to be appealing to people and stuff. What other type could I possibly be? If I'm some other type, let's say I'm an ESFJ or an ISFJ. Now he says demonstrative FI, which would suggest ISFJ. Then why am I getting into conflict and drama with people that's so negative all the time? Why am I having so much combative FE? Additionally, if in fact I am an ISFJ, why aren't any other ISFJs like me? There aren't any you can point to that are actually ISFJs or anything like me at all. So, it's pretty clear, Mark Dan, that you've got a predetermined conclusion about this, that you want desperately to invalidate my status as an ENTP and her status as an INFJ because you are a spite monkey. So I got this and this for you.
People forget he does that. And he does.
See, I'm an ISFU.
Good dialogue.
ENTPs rarely like each other is fairly true. Yes. Fairly true. And some of them, like Becky, become massive spite monkeys because they can't stand losing, Everybody needs to learn to lose graciously.
Yes, the truth.
Sometimes you're going to win something, you're going to lose something.
They got to lose gracefully, too.
You got to lose graciously.
Win gracefully and lose gracefully. Exactly.
There ain't nobody immune to losing.
No, ain't nobody immune to losing.
Certainly including me. I lose plenty of battles.
Myself included as well. 100%. I feel like I've been through the ringer. Hello! Oh, she's so good with her daddy.
So you mean
just two wars? 1861 was it like the Texas?
No, he's saying resisting the war of northern aggression was just. Yeah, that's if you don't carry the individual rights thing beyond the initial blush of thought. You know, the rights that they're using to justify their secession are been ceased to use in any argumentation going there forward. You know, that's the problem with that line of reasoning.
Can we settle this up down plates, Mark Dan? I could see both NF types in Rachel. I'm not sure what type she is.
I think he's meaning
ENFJ?
He either meaning ENFJ or INFJ, or he's meaning INFJ or INFP. One of the two. I'm not sure which he means. He means one of those two things.
Definitely not INFP. For not.
She's not an INFP.
No, and I took
Anybody who thinks that doesn't have any concept of cognitive function. It is a reasonable conclusion to think Rachel's an ENFJ. If you think she's an ENFJ, that's not an unreasonable conclusion. It's wrong, but it's not unreasonable.
Yeah.
When you've got FE as a tool function, you're going to come off as kind of extroverted. You know?
And I'm a 7.
And she's a 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you
freak out.
Listen, the point is though, if you're of the mindset that she's an ENFJ, that's not an unreasonable conclusion to draw, and you know something about cognitive function.
Right.
If you think she's an INFP, you don't know anything.
No. Or ENFP. Like, I'm not ENFP. I took the TI test because I want to.
No, yeah.
Remember?
She's not ENFP and she's not INFP. If you think those things, then you're just way off. I summoned who? Cloud? Truth can only be hidden for so long. Thank you, Cloud, for being here.
There he is, Cloud.
My favorite provocateur.
Cloud. Just passing through.
So once again, we got to face one of my favorite arguments, which is Eric's not an ENTP, and Rachel's not an INFJ, and I'm a little spite monkey who's coming to call myself Mark Dan, and it's just that Eric must be an ISFJ. Of course, that's the problem that they have, right? Is if I'm an ISFJ, why are there no other ISFJs like me? Can you point to any ISFJs like me? Okay, so Cloud's making the reasonable mistake to conclude that Rachel's an ENFJ, but not. At least he's not saying she's an INFP, you know.
Bye, James. Have a good day. Good meeting.
Yeah, have a good meeting. James, when you go to your meeting, I want you to say, I'm James, I'm here, let's meet.
I was thinking the same thing.
I think so, Archangel. I think Mark Dan is Spite Monkey. There are various clues, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, she's too head in the clouds to be FE dumb. I agree.
Thank you, Swift Eagles. I am head in the clouds.
First is what you ooze. Fourth is what you want to develop, and seventh is your weakness. I agree. First is what you ooze. Fourth is what you want to develop. Seventh is your weakness. I agree with all three of those things.
Cool. What's fourth for me?
SE.
SE.
It's what you want to develop.
Ooze.
You want to develop doing.
Yeah.
Doing shit more. You like to get a better relationship with going out on outings, doing stuff. Like, I think we're gonna have a great time on our trip to visit Hambone.
Yeah, me too.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. And
I love the fact that we'll be able to Cloud, you're such a douche. I think we're really going to love listening to that book on the way up there.
Yeah.
That's going to be so much fun. We've been listening to this book on Audible. Frank James is successfully advertised to us. Basically.
It could be coincidence. I think he possibly could have been like looking for suggestions, heard it from you, and I don't know. Maybe it's just maybe it's trending right now. Who knows?
Yeah, I think it might be trending now right now because they're going to make a television miniseries out of it, and I'm super happy about that. Actually, I want to see it really badly. Whatever it's on, I'll get that thing. But as I mentioned before, I read about the first half of the series is all before I ran out of books. This was about 10, 15, 20 years ago. I don't know. And then I stopped reading it. I never went back to it. I wasn't one who could wait for the new book to come out. I think I did that for one of them. And after that, I was just like, okay, this is too annoying that I have to wait like a year before I read the next. I just can't do that. Just like, no, fuck you, So I just stopped reading it completely. But they have now finished the series, like some 20 years later, right? The guy died before he finished the series, but he had set up a replacement guy with lots of instructions on how to finish the series, and that replacement guy wrote it out the way that he wanted it written out.
Good.
So he just died like a book before it was over.
Wow.
So, but he had, like I said, he had anticipated. His death wasn't a sudden thing, so he had set up to make sure it got finished, and that makes me happy. Yes, an egg of corn. Eric oozes ENFPs are like weird hippies. ENTPs are more cheeky. Yeah, I'm pretty cheeky. Got a lot of cheeks.
Mm-hmm.
See these cheeks?
Oh, they're so cute. Like Tip and Jet.
Of course, I got my other cheeks right here too. Cheek one. And cheek two.
Yep.
That's 4 cheeks I have in life.
4 cheeks in life.
I'm a 4-cheeked man. The kind you don't take up to mother.
I haven't.
You should only take 3-cheeked men home to mother. People who only have 1 butt cheek or 1 face cheek. Okay, I want to take a short break and stand outside. Perhaps Rachel will entertain you in my absence.
Sure. I understand 4 stuff as I understand 4th as stuff that is a chore, and you generally like someone else to take over, but still allow you to engage whenever you feel like it. On rare occasion, you actually want to do your 4th.
There are 2 halves of it. One of them is the way you say, and the other one is the way you say. It's like for me, SI physical, I always want to do, and not always want to do it right then, but it's always a good thing. It feels good to do things like take a bath, eat, drink, sleep, whatever.
Yep.
It's just, I'm pretty bad about remembering to do it, so to speak. But on the other hand, the other side of it, keeping track of my schedule and shit, that's something I'd really like to defer on to somebody else entirely.
Hi, I'm host Rachel. Talking with hands people. And I read your texts sometimes. The more you stare at a wall, the higher NI is. Yes, indeed. When I was in school, I stared at walls and outside windows and at chalkboards a lot, with nothing sometimes to think about except for daydreams. Life's been crazy, has it been? Life has been crazy, yes. Jerry like the mouse, but has it been especially crazy for you? A substitute teacher? Do you want me to be your substitute teacher? I don't know if I would be I would not want to be a substitute at all. Sorry. I don't.
It's an incredibly difficult job, actually.
I actually don't want. Everyone used to tell me that I should be a teacher because I'm good with kids, but I was always like, you need such a command over that classroom. Like, I don't have it in me.
The only people who are actually qualified to be substitute teachers are experienced classroom teachers who are not substitute teachers anymore. You know, it's like, what they should do is take the most experienced teachers and say, okay, you guys are now qualified to be substitute teachers. Because that's the hardest job. Oh my God, it's so hard. All right, we won't tell your mom anything.
Definitely not. I understand. I used to try to hide my report card from my parents too. I'd wait. And they always bring it up. And does NE correlate with originality of thought, asks Ethan McDonald.
Not really. I would say that it correlates with negative space. So, like, the best ideas are NI ideas. NE is a way of getting there that's different than NI. It's externally focused. So, in other words, NI is to know what's true by knowing what's true. NE is a roundabout way of establishing what's true. I put a bunch of shit out there and see what sticks to the wall. Whereas the NI user waits to know what's going to stick to the wall before they throw something. So, does it play out as an NE user seems very creative to external people? Yes. And the reason is because what NE does is it pulls elements from SI. Like, for example, why is it in the story last night that I told about Faye did she rub pot roast gelatin on the guy's lips? You might think, oh, that's very creative. Where did you come up with that out of the blue? Well, the reason is because the night before we had gone to a restaurant and we had bone marrow bruschetta, which tasted like pot roast gelatin.
Yeah.
And I had said so at the time. And so that's NE, okay? It's drawing from SI mostly. And then sometimes it'll use NI and it'll say, well, here's an association from this SI memory with this other thing. Actually, in that instance, it's an association with two SI memories because in my book, Gospel of the Pantheon, I have one of the characters who's this kind of ridiculous guy, the Duke of York, who's trying to marry the Duchess. He rubs when he tried to pick up on her goes with a very greasy pork grease ladle finger goes, shh, hush, my darling. And she's just like, oh my God, you know. So I kind of drew from that, and I drew from the night before dinner. Sorry about that. If I didn't mean to put my finger on your mouth like that.
We just were past that. I trust you. Thank you, baby.
And I don't want to get distracted by that. So look, that's how extroverted intuition works. I referenced an idea that I had before, tweaked it a little bit, added some details from the dinner before last night, and I have this scene in the story on the fly, apparently, where a girl rubs pot roast gelatin on the guy's lips trying to be sexy.
It's so funny because it's like, it's so wizardly. It makes me think you're like from like SIs, from stuff that you've known. So like you're really putting it in.
But I mean, the thing about that is ENTPs become more powerful, quote unquote, over time as their SI grows and their repertoire of shit grows. The thing is, I always recycle the ham. I develop these little stories about my life, and I tell them more than once, and not so much as my dad does. My dad will begin a story sometimes and say, like, I know I've told you this story before, and then proceed to just tell it again anyway. The thing is, I have some excuse for doing that on the live streams because some of you have heard it before and some of you haven't heard it before. So I'll use a lot of the same examples over and over again when I'm talking about cognitive functions. I'll reference the same event as an example of meow, Your friends nicknamed you Mr. Pride and Joy, ironically, because of how unexpressive you are. That's funny.
That is funny.
Not all ENTPs end up being as practiced at ENTP skills as I am. I've been very, very fortunate. I ended up in policy debate in high school, which ENTPs very much need to develop their NI. I'm seeing this in my ENTP debater, Jeffrey. His problem is always the same thing, ignoring NI. It's always the same thing. He ignores the obvious path right in front of him to do something clever. Or it's not even clever, it's different, And that's the thing. And any Dom needs to learn that it is not a good idea to always do the different thing. You have to value NI, and you have to value it actively in some way. How do NI Doms ignore NE? Just watch Rachel when she's catastrophizing. Yeah. She's so singularly focused on one negative truth that all the other realities that conflict with that are simply all the other possibilities. The reality that we can't know for sure and that we can impact the system. It's an open system and it's subject to our own actions and stuff. NI Dom removes agency from the equation, their own agency from the equation when they're too fixated on NI. They think that it doesn't matter what they do. This is how things are.
Yeah. It's also very metaphysical. I'm looking to occultist stuff. I'm into metaphysical stuff more. That's my metric of how I'm basing my feelings on.
Yeah.
You're not science. That's right. Not.
Here's the fundamental silliness of the NI Dom. To try to determine whether she is in the right relationship with me, instead of evaluating data about our relationship, she'll look to external things like astrology or tarot to tell her whether this relationship is good. And I say to her things like, but Rachel, it's good because we're happy together. We love each other and we're nice to each other and we're not doing those bad things that people do to each other. And she's like, yeah, but I just pulled the 3 of Swords. Okay, well, 3 of Swords notwithstanding.
Oh, I saw there was a 909 number on your phone. Who is that?
That's a Laverne area phone number.
Yeah.
I know who it is. It's Kyra. Curious Kyra.
Oh, cool.
NI can be challenging to understand. Did the light bulb go out?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go get another one of those. I'll just do that right now and get it done.
Okay.
So this is called 8-slot SE kicking in because it's this will give me a chance to get some more other thoughts in my head or something. It's really within the frame of NE and FE that I'm going to SE this thing right now. It's rather than really a TE thing.
I know that's good.
You don't have an argument for any specific type of club because I don't know them on a personal level. I think you just try to tell someone you only talk to over text. We didn't dox her. All you know is that she has a 909 number. That's not that big of a deal. She can live with people knowing the area code of her phone number. I think 909 is a pretty big area code. All right. So here we go. I'm going to go outside right now. I'm going to go to the garage. I'm going to go get one of those light bulbs. I'm going to put it into that hole where the light bulb goes, where the other light bulb I have to pull out of that hole first. Here we go.
I know that voice. Your Rick Benson voice.
New light bulb. Check. I'd like you guys to check this, please. Can you hold this for a second?
Mm-hmm.
It's good to be tall.
Yeah, it is.
If you're trying to change light bulbs anyway.
Mm-hmm. How many host errors does it take to screw a light bulb? One. Mm-hmm.
That's bright.
Yeah, it is bright.
Good job, Rachel. I appreciate that. How many house errors does it take to change a light bulb? One. Boom. Just like that. That goes in the trash can.
Trash?
Yeah. That's an old broken light bulb.
In the big one, right?
Oh, just right there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is there any more left?
Yeah,
Is there any more non-alcoholic beer left?
Yes, there is. Okay, so how many stoners does it take to change a light bulb? One, they're high, not idiots. Let's see here. I've been ignoring the chat. Let's see what's going on in the chat. I'm arguing about whether cloud's a TE down. I still say that he's an ESFP. I ask Oreo cookies for answers. If the frosting is on one side, it's a yes, and the other side is a no. That's a good way to do it. That's a really good. That's very magical. I'll tell you the type, but it would take too long. Though his base type is INTJ, and he uses NI to perfectly do 5-layer type of morphism. This guy here, use a little Occam's razor here, buddy. A little Occam's razor is what's called for. He once met a man on the street dressed all in buckskin with a flintlock rifle over his shoulder, who, when asked what he was doing and where he was going, said, "Well, word is the regulars are on their way to take the arsenal to Concord, so we're fixing to stop them." At which point, Grandpa remembered, "Oh, duh, it's April 19th. What? What is the story you're telling me? I got tired of proving it to everyone. I'm okay with being some other type as long as they don't keep badgering me about me. Fair enough, Archangel. Fair enough. A funnel for catching ghosts. A ghost funnel.
I'd buy a ghost funnel if it worked.
Sure. What would you do with a caught ghost, though? Pan fry it?
I've always wanted to have a portal gun. That's something I actually legit would want.
You could use your caught ghost to make a portal gun?
Yeah, so I'd funnel the ghost and then shoot the portal gun, throw it in there. Chaos reigns. There's a fox in a movie with Nicolas Cage, and Nicolas Cage is looking for advice, and the fox in a really, really bad CGI way is chaos reigns. You could tell it was a fox who was barking, barking.
Mm-hmm.
And they made it say chaos reigns.
Oh, sticky microwave door.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and clean it as best as I can.
These are the sort of things that cause a man frustration in life, right? The sticky microwave door that requires you to push the open button 3 times before it actually opens. Such are the events that try a man's soul.
They do.
No, they don't care about me, apparently. I should check my spam. Maybe it went spam. Who knows?
It could be like all this COVID stuff. They're like, fuck Americans.
Could be.
Honestly. They're not answering. They might not even be in session, actually.
Yeah, it's hard to say what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm not going to jump to any conclusions
I think that they will come. Something will come through. It's not that difficult. Once school's back in session and stuff, you'll be able to contact someone for sure. Hey, Zandy.
Zandy's here. Hi, Zandy. That feels good.
Oh, good. Okay.
That's too hard though. That's go over to the other side though.
Here?
Yeah, there's more like the other side of the spine. Yeah, that side. That's the side that needs it. Antipolar would irritate an NI-DOM. Hey, Eric gave a good explanation of how SI polar works. Teal Swan as an example. Yeah, SI polar is it's like this tendency to just dismiss people's actual experience completely. SI polar is, I think, Rachel sort of turns into a dark ENFJ when she has an episode or whatever you want to call it, and that she really starts to dismiss her own personal experience in favor of external knowledge.
I thought you said
dark ENFP.
Yeah.
Well, in the regard that I think I was thinking about that more. I think I was wrong about it. Basically, that what you're doing is not really dark ENFP shit because you're not coming up with the NE yourself. You're seeking other people's NE.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you saw.
And mostly I'm saying that that's best interpreted as a really dark version of an ENFJ who's rejecting personal experience when it's confirming the good truths that they have and embracing it when it's confirming the bad truths that they have. So that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I think I was wrong when I said that. The guy who you typed as ENTJ Benjamin when you thought he was INTP, even though you proved he was SI trickster, why ENTJ and not ENFJ? I don't remember the typing long enough to answer that really, but I would guess because I saw more TE than FE. I don't know. I don't remember it really. I do a lot of these things. My SI is kind of shitty. Eric, I don't know if you understand SI Polar or NI Tool as well as you do. Yeah. Or as well as you think I do. Okay, well, I mean the types, the extroverted types that are gonna appear in an hour's conversation, at least extroverted potentially, are your ENTJ and ESTJ because their extroverted function, extroverted physical systems interface function, which is not particularly sociable. If you're talking about the colloquial meaning of the word extroverted. You're a bear, right, Octavia? I think you were brown, black bear, grizzly, one of those three.
Grizzly? Yeah, is that a grizzly bear?
You're a grizzly bear.
I like that your mom's mascot and my mascot for my college was the same. Golden Bears.
The Golden Bears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
I'm not sure Mark Dan is a troll. I'm not sure. I may have been premature in casting aspersion on him. Thus, after his initial foray into Mietity Miaz, he's seemed to be reasonable.
That's always nice.
Yeah. And, even if you started as a troll, you're always welcome to convert to the side of the good. It's a brown bear.
It's cute.
There. This is the new look. Okay, you know how people get their tongue pierced? This is the kind of equivalent thing, but way cooler. It's called tusking. Tusking. Yeah, you give yourself tusks by putting a straw like this.
I see. I like your tusks.
Thanks. They're pretty cool. It's tribal.
It's tribal. Well, yeah. I mean, male elephants do have tusks, so.
You're in tusking.
Like your tusks.
Listen, Countess, it's kind of important to remember, Species doesn't really think I'm a different type. He's... give him a little more credit than that.
He's got the walrus. Cuckoo-cuckoo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little getting used to. It's a little uncomfortable at first, but, it's worth it because it looks so cool.
It does. It really does look so cool. And they move, so you could get it fitted exactly for your teeth.
Yeah, well, if you're really, if you can get if you get antique ivory, you can get your tusks made out of actual ivory.
Whoa.
But it's really expensive.
I don't think I want to do that.
But, it's really cool, though, if you do.
This
is the most tribal. Yeah, it does kind of impact the way you talk.
So when did you first learn about tusking?
Right now, when I made it up. Now, this is creativity, you see. When we talk about the ESP being really creative.
That's an idea.
This is really a good creative idea. You wrote it in the comment.
I don't even want to try to put the thing in. I mean, I do. I really do. Actually, I want to see if we could get to fit into my teeth. Should I try?
You want to try?
Yeah.
Let's draw, sure. In like 6 months, everybody's going to be doing this.
Tuscan.
What's a weeb version? What does that mean? You got to have space between the right teeth, or else you can't tusk, Hey, Rachel, you should flatten it first. You got to flatten the straw first. Oh, you did. Okay, it's pretty flat right there. Who are you talking about? Hanging chair. Stupid and scared. COVID-19. You talking about Digi Bro? There. Now we're both Tuscan. Hey, you guys, this is a new look, okay? You just kind of get used to it. Yes, it's going to impact your talking a little bit. No more so than no more so than a tongue piercing would, though.
True.
Once you get used to it, it's just like having a tongue piercing. It's cool. It's tribal.
It's really tribal.
Also, in case you have to fight somebody or running at them face to face, you'll win with your tusks.
Mm-hmm. Because she can be they are very Tuscan.
Okay, so
a little dribble.
Look, there's always a price to pay for fashion. Okay? It's not cheap and easy being beautiful.
Yes, it's not.
Yeah, sure, I can still drink and eat normally. I just can't talk or.
You're sure nothing.
You mean cool? Archangel counted as you mean cool, okay, not funny.
Mm-hmm.
Incredibly fashionable.
I think I was thinking about it. I think INFJs like being told they're special too.
You are special.
Thank you, baby.
You're my irreplaceable special lady.
Oh my God, you're my irreplaceable special man. So true and just as fine and special.
You're the only one who's cutting edge enough to be Tusking with me.
Thanks, babe.
Mm-hmm. We can stop.
See, I even got it in my teeth. You can see.
Wow, that's great. You did a great job there, baby.
Thanks, baby.
Drooling's a small price.
It is a small price. Thanks, Jerry the Mouse.
Okay, so.
Oh my gosh, try kissing? That's funny.
All right, yeah, you can still kiss when Tusking. It does take a little bit of care. You gotta be careful.
I'm so happy that your moving went well. They say that they call moving a positive stressor. Like a wedding, they say, is a positive stressor because it's a lot of planning and stuff ahead of time.
Mm-hmm. But it's
Moving,
satisfying at the end.
yeah, right. Yeah.
It's got a nice conclusion.
That's what you're hoping for while you're stressing.
And I just want to suggest that in order to be more feminist, we changed the name of Sacramento to Sacra Person Toe or Sacra Per Child Toe. Sacra Per Child Toe would be the least misogynist name. Because son is another male-dominated patriarchal word than person, you know. So we want to get rid of the men from it. Sacramento. Want to get rid of that men, replace it with person. People. Sacra People Toe.
Did you just mansplain me?
I did. I did just mansplain.
Was that great?
That was perfect. I totally mansplained the fuck out of you.
Yeah, you did.
Is that a season 4 episode? Implying the matriarch would be even better. So, Sacra Mother Toe. I think Sacra People Toe is fine.
Sacra People Toe, yeah, yeah. Sacra People Toe, I like that one. Everyone's included.
Sacra People Toe is a great name for a city too.
That's like one of the things that, like, as you grow in society, will be the things that you change.
Yeah. We're going to Sacramento. I mean, Sacra People Toe. Sorry.
We're going to put a new town here.
No, they're going to change the names for all the existing towns.
Yeah, change the names. Yeah, it's really not that hard. People will get used to it. It's not a big change. Are you in a place where you can poop, Ingentir? I encourage you to poop. You get the green light from me.
If you aren't, put 2 hands behind your butt like this.
Squat. Sacrifice MGTOW? Oh my god. MGTOW. Eric has lots to talk about MGTOW.
MGTOW is dumb. MGTOW is a he-man woman haters club.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is.
Sakura no mento. I like that. That's cute. Well, my Annie's not that great. The inkity pinkity, I can't get anything.
Well, you were also saying about how when you were hanging out with Jen, she really tried to get you involved in creative stuff, but she was always trying to get you to NE stuff. Like she wanted you to freestyle rap. Well, that's just not in NI Dom's wheelhouse.
It was so I felt so pressured, you know? Like I knew that I could probably do it if I got into a flow by myself.
You're pushing too hard on your ignoring. You got to let your ignoring happen. Your ignoring is best served. This is my experience with ignoring. My ignoring is best served when, like, let's say I'm freestyling a song. So I'm making up words, lyrics, and chords all concurrently. The melody concurrently. You know, I mean, lyrics, chords, and melody concurrently. So, in that instance, my extroverted intuition is so occupied that my introverted intuition has to be responsible for, like, the melody, for example. And so I tend to go with the intuitively correct or interesting or whatever melody over the thing. The good tends to be a good choice if it's a way to engage my NI is to occupy my NE with a lot of other stuff.
You know, it's really awesome. Like, the more time I spend with you just as a person, the more like my NE is is understood.
I'm having the same experience in reverse. You're helping me understand the NI a lot better, right? Not even helping me; it's just sort of happening by being around you.
Yeah. Like I've been dying to tell you that one of the slabs down there looks like one of those lady underwear hosiery things that sucks everything in.
Oh, one of those things. Yeah, what you're talking about. What is that called? A girdle.
Girdle, yeah. It looks like one of those. Bug. Big hug. I like
that. You want to play a game, huh? Okay, I'll try to play a game. Let's see. What game to play? Let's play Chutes and Ladders.
Okay.
I rolled a 6. I got the big ladder. I'm all the way near the top already.
It's gonna be like
Arnold's Fried Chicken is closed? Oh no. Feed your cat. Feed your cat. Let's protest.
Definitely feed your cats.
You know,
we have pizza.
One of the live streams last night, and one of the stories I was making up, I had the word recruit, and it got excised from the stream. I wonder if that will happen this time as well. I'm kind of curious about it. Was it an accident, or was it on purpose, or
it could have sounded like something? Who knows? That's a good question.
Well, Isaiah mistyped his INTP for the same reason that Rachel mistyped his ENFJ, which is the tool function is what you're actively using most when you're under pressure like that.
Yeah, and I was.
When you're asked to perform and the world's putting pressure on you to use something, you're going to go automatically your tool function. So ENTP is going to seem much better at the TI questions when answering them as a on-the-spot test. And then they're going to reveal their actual TI ability when they try to make up those questions themselves and forget partway what they're making up and shit like that. Isaiah style, right? Isaiah is even worse about that shit than I am because he didn't have debate. Don't underestimate the significance of debate in making an ENTP more effective.
It's good advice.
Because it forces you to be on point. You got to go down the flow, cover everything. You got to be not sloppy. Mm-hmm. And it's a tough lesson to learn. But once you get it down, it infuses everything in your life, so you understand what it means to not be sloppy. All right, it's time for a couple of bottle rips, I think.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was gonna pay this 12.
Your price is right here.
I believe that there are a lot.
Yeah, you do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Muskets and turrets.
Oh.
The military shoots and ladder edition for angry young children. Welcome to Muskets and Turrets. Is your child angry and obsessed with war and violence? Don't give him normal shoots and ladders. Give him muskets and turrets.
Muskets and turrets. Shreds?
From the makers of Drugland, the drug-themed version of Candyland for young children who are destined to a life of drug addiction.
Nice.
Why do I title it? I have to title it something. David White. That's the thing is, I could title it the same thing every time, which is Eric talks to people in the live chat. You know, I could do that, but I'm an NE down, so I like making funny titles. Some of my titles are better than others. You know, there was one morning when I titled a live stream "Waking Up with an Itchy Anus," and somebody like a few days later said, or a week later or something said, "Oh my God, I love the title of that live stream," and that made me feel really good. I still remember that compliment. It makes me smile to remember that compliment because, I mean, somebody thought that was a funny title and wanted to share with me they enjoyed it, and so I appreciated that. Most of my titles are kind of random. You know, when Whippoorwills Whisper, that was the title the other day. It had nothing to do with whippoorwills really or whispering at all, or when.
Hi.
Oh, Kitty, Meow Meow Pants is here. She's meowing. She's powing.
She's meowing. She's meowing. Oh, Kitty Queen. Yes.
Oh, what a wonderful pageant-winning kitty friend.
Yes. You seem to win them all. I did tell her we were going to get her front line. I feel guilty.
This title sounds like you're going to talk about parasite awareness. When titles confused as the wisest men, sounds like you're going to talk about parasite awareness. Zandy, you got me on this one. I'm not sure where the link there is. I'm sure there is one with your NI tool function, but yeah, I've had liquids. I've been drinking coffee and non-alcoholic beer all day. Oh, the one about the itchy anus. Oh, I see. Not this title. That makes more sense, Sandy. Makes a lot more sense. Yeah, and then that's what I heard when I started the stream too. It was like Winston's on going, maybe you have pen worms. I'm like, oh my God. No, I probably just didn't wipe my ass very well.
Sometimes butts are itchy.
Right. Sometimes your anus is itchy, you know, because here's the thing. The reason it gets itchy sometimes is please don't tell us about your anus. Well, but look, listen, here's the thing. You gotta remember, your anus is something that you're wiping with papers all the time, with toilet paper or with wipes, and it gets a little chafed sometimes. You can really rub it. If you have a messy poop, you gotta wipe a whole bunch. You can really make your your butthole chafed. And there she is, Winston's mom, once again talking about pinworms. So it's natural for your anus to itch occasionally. It doesn't mean you've got parasites. Okay? I want to immediately reject the notion that I have anal parasites. We can just stop talking about that possibility right now.
Please.
I do have baby wipes too. That's the thing.
Bong rip.
Right, bong rip time. All of your provocative anal parasite comments have distracted me from the duty at hand to pull this bong rip. I'm tired of rectal themed provocations. I'm tired of rectal themed provocations. You need your main tool to flow freely. Don't we all, Hanging here? Don't we all? Oh yeah. Righteous. Pew. Your internet is bugged? Like the FBI is listening to you or something? Or you mean it's buggy? That's true, Sky Gear. That's true. Who did it? They listen. What are they listening for? I encourage the government to listen to me. I wish a lot of government agents were listening to me because my viewers would be higher. My views would be more, and I want all of the FBI and all the CIA to subscribe to my channel. Everybody in both of those organizations should be a subscriber. They can all listen to me all the time. The FBI wants to molest you, James? I didn't know they did that. Did the FBI do that?
They might,
Do they molest people?
Drugs.
Yeah, well.
I was molested. When I was arrested for marijuana, they patted me down and
Was it a dude?
She did have to
Oh, it was a lady?
Bend over, yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I forgot about that, actually, that part of it.
The FBI can have all the information they want on me. That's the point I'm trying to make. Why do I not want them to have information on me? I'm not doing anything wrong. No, I'm referring to James who says, FBI, do it to get information. But,
they have all the information they need.
Right, they can have all the information they want about me. I want them to pay more attention to me, not less.
This is true.
The problem with the government is they're not paying enough attention.
Look at this. Yeah.
Right? It seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah. You know you just might turn. Oh, you know you got both of you up again.
Look, type's not a prime directive. Type is subject to a prime directive, which is to say, type configurations represent strategies to attain map territory consonants. Okay? That's the quickest way to put it. A type configuration is one of 16 possible strategies to attain towards attaining map territory consonants. Okay, I think that's an important thing I just said. Everybody should hear it with their ears, okay? Because it's like when I talk about a prime directive, I'm saying the prime directive is to make the world predictable, to know what's gonna happen. And when the world is dramatically unpredictable, it can be very traumatizing. Even if it's unpredictable in a good way. It can be traumatizing. Because people want to think that there are certain things in life that they can assume and not have to question. And like, so for example, when I am distressed, it's because my map territory is not in consonance. I think my relationship partner should be an active supporter of. Well, like right now, see, here's the thing. I hate to use these sort of things as examples, Rachel, but it just works so perfectly as an example. Like right now, Rachel's Rachel. And so I have this perfectly safe assumption that we're going to be together forever, basically. And and that she loves me and that she values me and that she's not going to toss me aside at any moment. Now, the thing is, to the extent that I can put my insecurities aside, then even when she's not herself, I don't really have to worry about her tossing me aside exactly, because that's not what's going on there. And I know that. But regardless, the thing is, I expect my relationship partner to like this Rachel to allow me to extrapolate out and say, and that's how she'll be tomorrow and the next day and stuff, right? But people sometimes don't behave as they normally do. And when there's deviance from that, it causes distress until you update the map adequately. Once I understand adequately and have my map configured properly to recognize that this is a deviance from who Rachel is that occasionally will happen if we don't get our medications right, then when it does happen, it's a lot less big deal, It's only a big deal when it's a surprise. And then, in fact, this is why a lot of people like my last girlfriend, for example, a lot of people sabotage relationships because they'd rather be unsurprised by the misery that they intentionally induce than be surprised by misery that they don't anticipate. That's why people sabotage relationships, because they're desperately afraid of investing trust and then having that trust betrayed. I think your neighbors can actually transmute into their cats. Are you crazy? I guess it depends on whether they can. I find INTJs easiest to spot. They're so bizarre. Well, I don't find them easiest to spot. I don't know which type I find easiest to spot. Keeping in mind that I'm trying to spot them here in the chat. Like, I'm spotting them based on things they're typing into the live stream chat. So it's hard for me to type people. Oh, Rachel's getting the blessings. She's getting the blessings. I have to show the people the blessings.
Oh, who's that pretty kitty? Yes, it's mommy. Yes, I love you. I love you, Capillo.
Oh, the blessings of the kitty friend.
The blessings of the kitty friend. A very important kitty friend. The kitty pageant winner. Yes, indeed. Yes, it's you. Yes, you won.
She did win the kitty pageant. It's true. Yes, IAG last to clarify again. A prime directive is something that it has to be basically all of human experience can be explained within that frame. And what I'm saying is all of human experience can be explained within the frame of trying to find consonance between your map and territory. In other words, it's the only thing we can't ever find a counterexample to. If I say, well, the prime directive is to avoid pain, that's not really true. We can see lots of examples where people choose pain because it produces good outcomes. No pain, no gain, So that's not a prime directive. Well, the prime directive is to stay alive no matter what. Well, that's not true, though, because we see people go to war and willingly, sacrifice themselves for causes. So that's not the prime directive. Anyway, there's only one thing that works as a prime directive, as far as I can tell, from having thought about it quite a bit. And that's this notion of this one other dude who's very, I forget what his name is. He came up with this idea. It's not me. Sometimes that helps people to accept the validity of something if I inform them that it's not my idea, you know? So anyway, he's considered like some sort of super genius guy. Yeah. I forget what his name is. And his theory basically is what I'm saying the prime directive is, which is that all of life has as its prime directive matching up the map and the territory. Now, he doesn't put it this way. This is my interpretation of it. But he talks about it being a free energy reduction thing. So if you talk about it in that regard, and he actually tries to sort of parse out decision-making metrics or decision-making, metrics like basically the way that you can have different approaches to search, like Boolean search and stuff like that. But regardless of that, so I don't want to get into all that complicated shit that he talks about. But what I'm saying is the idea that all of life has as its prime directive basically successful prediction. In other words, matching up map and territory, then it makes sense with everything. Like everything can be expressed in that. There's nothing you can come up with a counterexample for it. There's no instance where people don't. The best you can come up with is, well, people like to be surprised by a movie. Right, but even then, they're predicting that they're going to experience a surprise of a certain sort in a very defined context and all that stuff. So they're predicting if I go to the movie The Sixth Sense, having heard that there's a big surprise and it's going to surprise me, then I'm going to be disappointed if I'm not surprised because I'm predicting surprise, you see? So I'm saying there is a single prime directive. A prime directive definitionally is that under which everything else can be expressed as a function of, okay? So everything can be expressed as a function of the prime directive. And what I'm saying is that type, personality type, a cognitive function configuration, there are 16 possible configural approaches to making map and territory match up that range from use the map to control the territory, ENTP, know the map so well that you can always know the territory, which is INFJ. And those things right there are both wrong, right? You know, everybody's wrong. I can't control the territory by just controlling the map. Rachel can't know the territory by just knowing the map, the universal map, especially, you know. But that's what that configuration is. It's an attempt to handle the issue of the fact that you're not going to always have consonance between your map and territory by taking it as strategy. The INFJ strategy is to know the map perfectly. The ENTP strategy is to make the map and try to force the territory to match the map. The ESFP strategy is to focus entirely on the territory and say the map doesn't matter at all. You know, and all these approaches, every one of the 16 approaches is wrong, but it's wrong in a specific way, and it's right on those rare occasions when it lines up contextually with exactly the way that it's wrong. See what I'm saying? And the purpose of cognitive functions ultimately as a lexicographical tool, a tool of words, is that it helps us to understand on a meta-analysis point what we're doing. So we're not just doing it instinctually, doing it reflexively, and having limited amount of free will as a consequence. We're doing it consciously with awareness of what it is we're doing and why we're doing it that way. Well, look, I mean, the thing is, to correctly parse out exactly how each of the type relates to the map territory equation, you have to divide the map into 2 sections and the territory into 2 sections as well, because there's the introverted metaphysical field where thoughts and ideas as they relate to you live. External metaphysical field where thoughts and ideas that are communicatively engaged in the passion that we are right now live. There's the internal physical field where you feel good. Right now I don't feel bad at all. There's nothing wrong with me. I don't have a headache. I don't. I'm a little phlegmy. I think maybe because of the particulates in the air, because of the riots burning stuff. Maybe I'm not sure, but I'm a little allergy-y today. I mean, I think that's basically what we see, Kyra. But remember, I'm not saying types adhere to a prime directive. I'm saying specifically one thing. So don't try to change it into different words, everybody. I am saying that personality type, a cognitive function configuration, is a possible strategy towards map territory consonants. Well, Enneagram, no, it's not a prime directive. Remember, there is one prime directive. So, if it is correctly the prime directive, then Enneagram expresses under it as well. And it does. You'd say, your Enneagram type is a manner of, is again a strategy towards map territory consonants. Consonants, in this case, link specifically towards the negative emotions that come along when you have map territory dissonance. Can a person change their Enneagram number? I don't know if Enneagram is actually a part of personality per se, because personality definitionally are those aspects of the self that do not change from birth to death, without excepting in cases of trauma or illness or something like that. So if in fact Enneagram changes over time, then it's not part of your personality. Personally, I believe at least the first number is constant throughout your life. I think I have always been a 7 and will always be a 7. But I'm not in the business of TI defending Enneagram. So if you want to attack Enneagram on TI grounds, I just am not in the business of defending it. And even if I disagree with you, I'm just not going to make those arguments, because it's a will-o-wisp chasing those argument chains down their paths. I don't know, James. I don't know about Enneagram. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know. It's like, I have my opinions about it, but I don't make arguments about it because I can't win those arguments. I tend to not make arguments that I can't win. You're lost and you're in the wrong chat. I need better titles. Well, this is what happens when titles escape the wisest men, or whatever, evade or void. I don't remember what the title was even. Okay, well, why don't you take on the job of titling my videos, and David White? Why don't you become my official titler? How about that, Mr. Title Opinion Pants? What type is Michael Jordan? I don't know. Probably an ISTP.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people say.
Does Enneagram have a noticeable degree of utility and usefulness? I do think so. I mean, look, first of all, remember, these shorthand terms we're using are meaning packages. They pack up a bunch of different meanings and make it easy to express complex concepts quickly. So if I say to Rachel, my 8 got the better of me, she knows that I mean I got angry because my natural response to conflict is to engage in, if somebody comes at me with meh, 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 I'm going to come with meh, meh, meh. That's how I naturally respond to that sort of thing. It's not my first response. My first response is to ignore things that are unpleasant and try to keep playing. But if somebody comes and disrupts my play, then I will get angry about it and push back. This is a way of explaining my tactics on a map territory level, right? I guess instead of my strategy on a map territory level. It's a description of my habitual tactics. Habitually, these are the tactics I take in approaching meow. Map or expectations territory is reality, but you're saying depending on cognitive functions, your expectations are very different. For example, how I expect to be logical. Right. Yeah, totally. What kind of map you have and how much of a role the map plays in your being, your ontology, is going to be dependent on which kind of stack you have. If you're an ESFP, map is something that you play at, and when you leave the map, it just poof disappears basically, and you come back and you can just make a new map right now, and it's weird. And so what they've got to learn eventually is what you call map constancy. Object permanence, map permanence, I guess. They need to learn that because they're the least metaphysical of types. Meanwhile, meta-analysts like me and Rachel, we need to learn to focus on reality sometimes and not, it's very possible for two meta-analysts to argue about some totally moot status. Two meta-analysts might argue about a given term that one of them used to describe something that the other one did for a long period of time before realizing, hold on, why are we stuck in this little bit of map dispute when it's a beautiful day and we're sitting here and we should be enjoying ourselves and stuff like that, right? That's part of the risk of being a meta-analyst is you can get caught up arguing minute map details for no good purpose at all when you need to pay attention to what's right in front of you. We shouldn't be arguing about whether I called you babe or darling or something. We should be just having sex, for example. It would be an example of too much map, too little territory. And so every type has some sort of version of that problem. It's more specific than what I just said because you have to factor in the internal, external fields on both physical and metaphysical. I'm not factoring that in when I'm talking about it right now. Yeah, metaphysics or sex. The thing is, metaphysicians, like myself, strangely, to the outside world, I'm sure it appears very strange, will often choose metaphysics over the sex there. So, ENTP and INFJ are both meta-analysts and should know each other's place on the court. Right. Well, exactly. I think, Rachel and I do a great job of trying to be meta about being meta-analysts, which is to say we recognize what it means to be an intuitard. And we sometimes check ourselves and go, okay, come on, let's stop and smell the roses. And it's something we literally do when we're riding our bikes or walking or something, is we'll stop and smell the roses and see how much they smell. It's a very sensory experience, Instead of talking about how some species of roses nowadays don't really smell much and blah, 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 blah. We'll probably have that conversation too.
I like those conversations.
Yeah, and I do too. We are, after all, meta-analysts, but we like to. I like to include actual sensory experience too, and so does Rachel. Rachel, I think, needs it even more than I do because she's fourth slot SE and I'm fourth slot SI. My sensory experience that I need more than she does is the rai. I have a greater need for rai than she has, and she has a greater need for do, go out and do shit than I do.
We balance it out, I think.
Yeah. What kind of wife do you have, David White? What's your type? You gotta provide you gotta spend some attention to providing what your partner needs. It's only fair. Not a whole shit ton of attention to it, because both people should be basically relaxed and doing what they feel like doing, and it should just naturally conform. But you should put some attention towards giving your partner what they need. So I give some attention to keeping track of how much SE Rachel's done. Like I know last couple of days we've been stuck around here because this curfew has prevented us from leaving. We can't leave the house right now. But I've also informed her of an upcoming trip. And, in my mind, I'm keeping track of this. I'm thinking, okay, well, this should buy me some SE time because she knows coming up we've got this trip. We're gonna have to start packing for it here relatively soon. We've also got a meetup with Kyra on Friday. That's very SE. Yeah. And so it's like I kind of SI keep track of her SE a little bit. It's not something I would ever have kept track of for myself because I'm not 4-slot SE, I wasn't kidding when I said I was lost. I don't know shit about personality types, but you chill to watch. Well, thanks, David White. I appreciate that. I'm chill to watch. It's better than being fat and being bad at being watched. Then that would not be good for me. David White, I am chill to watch, presumably. I'm glad I'm not anxiety-inducing to watch. Sometimes I am anxiety-inducing to watch when I'm very angry at someone and there's a big fight going on. People are like, Jesus, I can't take this anymore. Eric's so mad. Well, don't be so wrong then. You know who made me mad earlier? Waldo. But it's okay. I'm already over it. I'm not going to be mad at him when he gets back next time. My girlfriend feels disrespected when her mom tells her something to do but won't justify it logically. And her mom feels disrespected when she prioritizes logic over being nice. Right. That's a cognitive function battle. That's called function throwdown. FE versus TI. They're probably on the same side. They're both on the same TI-FE axis, probably. One of them's FE above TI, the other TI above FE. That's an early stage conflict for both a TI user and an FE user. RJ says, Eric, I forgot to tell Hambo when I saw him last. Please tell him for me. Congratulations for your new love. May it bloom bright forevermore. I will tell him that, Countess, when I see him. We'll have to remember that. The Countess says to Hambone, or a message to relay to him, congratulations on your new love. May it bloom bright forevermore.
Oh, that's nice.
I love it when the streams turn into cool discussions. When there isn't a discussion of some sort, I normally resort to telling random absurd jokes. Well, this is a cool discussion. We're discussing whether or not this is a discussion. Currently, I think it's more like playful banter, but it's riding along the border of discussion town. It could enter into the discussion town like a horde of Trollocs, right? And building it on fire. You're going to hear a lot of Wheel of Time references coming up from now on. You're going to hear me referencing Trollocs. You're going to hear me referencing Fades, the Forsaken. You're going to hear me talking about the True Source. Okay, Curious Kyra, though, here's the thing. I am so tired of being reduced to playful banter. I would like at least this banter to be deemed serious, important banter. I think so too, Eric. My aunt and me have gotten far, and she accepts my logical judgments a lot more, and we don't expect our strengths from each other. She's ESFJ. 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 They can be a super helpful type today. ESFJ. They aren't so bad. They're friendly and rarely mad. Eric, have I ever had a pet dog? And if so, what kind? Yeah, I had a pet dog. I had the greatest dog in history. Lacey. She was half Chihuahua, half Corgi, is what the vet said. And she was a precious, precious angel. I don't really like to talk about her. It makes me cry. You may leave smarter, you may not. but you've definitely killed some time. It's a good point, dude. Why? This is good. This beer.
Mm-hmm. It really is.
Oh my god, so satisfying. I gotta go get another one.
Okay. Can we share that with you?
Please, of course, darling.
Oh, see,
you want to come sit next to me? You bring your laptop over here.
Okay. Sure.
Question: what does beer lead to? Answer: more beer. What movie was that in? I don't know, but it's true. Non-alcoholic beer is proof that God loves you and wants you to be happy. As Ben Franklin said, except without the non-alcoholic part. Please enjoy. And we've also got dinner, which is leftover lunch.
Yep.
We ordered a pizza today.
Yes, we did. That smells so good.
Yes, it's true.
Oh, thanks.
I got you, baby. Well, if you've watched much Talking with Benny people, you've seen me cry a million times. I cry all the time. You know, Wheel of Time is another series that makes me cry. Well, I don't cry about shit like that usually. Although, the other day I was very sad and crying, trying to explain this story from quite a long time ago where a police officer in Dallas referred to the citizenry as civilians, and it made me very upset. But I was lacking sleep, and I was at a certain point in my pill cycle that made me extra moist, I guess. So, like Naruto, Wheel of Time makes me cry. It's already been making me cry multiple times over the listening to it. Like the FE stuff makes me cry. What kind of pills do I take? Amphetamine pills. But I'm not on them right now. I haven't been on them for a couple of weeks.
Wow. cool. It's like on your terms.
Mm-hmm. I want you to, I want you to eat this last piece too. Okay?
No.
Yeah, you're always. Here's one of the problems when you have two FU types. Okay. There's always one piece of whatever left at the end, because both people are always leaving it for the other person.
Mm-hmm.
It was so
I don't
annoying.
mind that. With the candy though, I think we would do good with the candy. Like I like how like 4 pieces were left, so we could have each. I like it's sweet. I think it's kind of romantic. Don't stop doing that.
Don't stop doing what? Not eating the last thing. Preserving the thing for you. Yeah, okay, cool.
Candy, yeah.
Yeah, I do care.
No, I know you care. I said with the candy. We would go with the candy.
Which candy are you talking about? Oh, the Starbursts? Oh, those? Or all 3 of those?
Yeah, like the Starburst and stuff.
Well, the reason they gave me amphetamine pills is because I went to the doctor and made it happen. You know, I wanted amphetamine pills and was successful in getting the doctor to give them to me. Because I'm an ENTP and my doctor's an ISTP and I'm his supervisor type. I'm quite convinced that's why it went so smoothly for me. You know, when it first happened, I was like, I'm the shit. Oh, yeah. I got lucky. I got an ISTP doctor. That's the long and the short of it. And, you know, I mean, I did have a good spiel, you know, but
yeah.
I think it has a lot to do with the doctor deferring to his supervisor type. Doctors are famous for having God complexes, but this doctor doesn't have any of that with me. That's weird.
We're leaving this. Last one for me.
Yes.
But I'm probably going to eat it like middle of the night sort of thing.
Gotcha. Cool. Thank you for claiming ownership of it. I appreciate that. That's great. I like the definitive nature of that.
Cool. I know myself very well. Like, I get hungry in the middle of the night and it'll be great for me to snack on.
Do I ever feel bad that I might be pushing on his polar? No, because, I mean, the thing is, I worked him up to what I wanted at the beginning, and I haven't changed it at all since.
No,
and
he likes that.
He also uses this to force me to get checkups. Like, he says, okay, well, you know, it's been 2 years since your last blood work. So I'm not going to prescribe it again to you until you get, I'm not going to refill your prescription until you get your blood work.
That's fair.
And so I'm like, okay, well, I guess I got to get my blood work done. So
That's
it's like,
bad.
you know, and I haven't tried to up the dosage or anything. I'm perfectly happy with the amount I get. I get 60 15s. And it's a lot of speed, frankly. Yeah, you should trust yourself when it comes to medical stuff, and your own body is what you know with your SI. If you've got decent SI, I mean, it's not really that. I mean, compared to some people, it's not a lot. IAG last. You can get prescribed as much as 90 milligrams a day.
Wow.
I got 30.
What's Lila get?
30. And Delilah hasn't even refilled her prescription in months now because she's not a drug addict. I have instant release 15s. Delilah's got a 20 XR and a 10 IR. The thing is, I don't need more than about 1 pill per day, probably. You know, if I were to take one first thing in the morning, it'd probably actually help me if I were to consistently do that and not play binge purge. Rachel, look at this strange thing that's grown out of the couch.
Oh my gosh.
Who knew the couch would ever grow something like that?
I never would have thought.
That's weird.
Is it okay? Is it comfortable for you?
Seems to be, yeah.
Okay, good. That's what matters. That's funny.
Well, when we were when we were talking to the psychiatrist, and he was explaining how this one drug you have to let it dissolve under your tongue. I said, or you can crush it up and snort it.
That's funny.
I also suggested that we'd get it in suppository form, and every night I could administer the suppository to Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sweetie, suppository time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Doesn't that sound funny?
It does.
There you go. I'll go get another one.
I was thinking of suppositories with little kids. When they get really sick, a lot of times they do suppositories.
Oh, good. I'm happy for you and your cat, Archangel. Bro, you gross. I'm not gross, bro. I'm non-gross. Okay?
Thanks, Archangel Countess. He's non-gross.
Hey, friends, not fans, Archangel. I don't have fans.
We're all famous people, right?
Yeah, we're all famous people.
Hey, Kiera Louise.
Ain't no fans around here, dog. Hi, Kiera Louise. Holla back, I should say. Holla back, girl. Holla back.
Is it okay to just say hi?
It's okay, yeah. Because this live stream isn't specifically titled Holla as the previous one had been. So the Holla rules were limited to just that live stream.
Cool.
What floats your boat is your business. I actually don't have any boat floating occurring via the butthole. I am butthole avoidant, both mine and hers. You know, when it comes to sex, I think that you don't involve the butthole. For sure, that's just my perspective on it. I'm not trying to judge you if you're a butthole lover. You go ahead and do your thing, but no, that's just not for me.
What floats my boat is natural occurring buoyancy. This is curious. Good. I like that. Kira.
What floats my boat is its state of yarness. If you stitch electricity in giraffe butts, they ejaculate? Really?
That's who tested that?
I know. Really? How did they discover
what
that?
made them want to do that?
Hey, I know. Let's see if we can make this giraffe come. Whoever says that.
I don't know.
Let's make all these giraffes come and then blame it on Tesla. That was Thomas Edison's. That's the Thomas Edison plan that people don't know about, okay? That was left out of history class when it should have been included. Back in the day, Thomas Edison kidnapped a bunch of giraffes from Africa, and he shot electricity in their buttholes to make them all come, making a huge mess in Central Park, and then he blamed it on Tesla. This is one of the missing stories from history that we need to remember, or it'll be lost in the annals of time. A butthole is a human USB. Huh. So I can plug my mouse and keyboard into my butthole?
Can we not try?
No, but they did care about the flood of giraffe semen in Central Park.
I'm very, very glad that they did. Are they trying to like reproduce them? Is that why?
No, Thomas Edison was trying to defame Tesla's name. He kidnapped a bunch of giraffes, took them to Central Park, shot a bunch of electricity into their buttholes, and they spooged all over the place.
I'm so sick of them trying to do stuff like that.
But yeah, blaming Tesla.
Tesla. Like, come on, let it go.
Just let Tesla be, Edison. Stop trying to compete with him. Just because his version of electricity was better than yours, there's no reason for you to be a little shit about it.
There you go.
Apparently, it only works if you shoot direct current into the anus of giraffes. If you shoot Tesla, this is how Tesla cleared his name. He's like, I'll show you. He brought some giraffes and he shot AC/DC current into their butthole and they didn't ejaculate. See, it was Edison. It must have been direct current. I think Tesla's an INTJ. Sherlock Holmes is actually the one who solved that case for him, by the way. You want to know the complete history of the thing. Sherlock Holmes came from England and said, "Elementary, my dear Watson. If you use direct current in a giraffe's anus, it ejaculates, but not alternating current." I hate Musk. I don't hate Musk. I just think he's incredibly wrong about a lot of things. First of all, whatever heuristic or algorithm he used to name children, it failed him this time. XAEA12 it's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful.
Yeah.
AIEA12?
XAEA12, I think is the name.
XAEA12.
Yeah. Old MacDonald had a farm, XAEA12. We had to register him as Xavier. Oh. I think she means, where did you get the idea that she was offended? I don't think she was offended at all. Carver's a curious person. She's always saying things that... No, we haven't seen any of season 4 of Rick and Morty. I think we need to get HBO Meowity Meow.
We'll see.
If we want to watch it, because Rachel noticed there was a billboard that for HBO Max, I think it's called, and it had a picture of Rick and Morty on it. And Hulu doesn't have season 4; it has seasons 1 through 3. It's on Netflix. Is it?
Is it?
You have Netflix.
Yeah, right? I do. I just purchased it for free for a month or whatever, and then we have it. Should we save?
Yes.
Oh, I know. Netflix.
Yeah. Argus, Facts, and Angantier agree with you, IAG last. Well, we'll watch the I have a suspicion, David White, that Kyra might be FI polar. She thinks she might be an INFP. I think she might be an ENTP, might be FI polar. In which case, she's not going to really pick up on that stuff very well. You kind of got to hit her over the head with it. Hey, lady. Like you just did, David White. You might be.
They don't have Rick and Morty.
They don't? Mm-mm. Yeah, they don't. You were wrong about that. Wrong pants. What's if mean? If it's the antecedent part of the conditional, then that's the consequent part of the conditional. Well, I am excited to meet you, Kyra, and find out what I think type you are. And then afterwards, when I see you around here again, then we'll be able to have an SI experiential reference point.
That's nice.
You said IF Phil, look it up. If I look it up, did I say that? I don't know what you're talking about. Is being a surgeon a great occupation for an ISP? Yeah, I think it is. If is followed by a true statement, then something happens. If followed by a false statement, either something else happens or nothing happens. Sure, I'll do tarot reading. You want a tarot reading?
Yeah.
Louise Dizon. I'm going to give you the cognitive function tarot read. That's all your 8 functions in order, okay? We got first. This is the cognitive function stack tarot ontology assessment. Your NI. Ooh, interesting. This fun. The 9 of Swords. I'm going to do all of them and then I'll explain them. Your FE. The Moon. Your TI. Dinner with Jesus. Your SE. Four Pentacles.
Oh, Pentacles.
4 pence. Okay. So that's your front stack. Now let's do your back stack. Any doorway. FI. Too many choices. TE. Ace of Pentacles. Huh. And lastly, SI. 4 of sticks. Okay. So let's see here. Luis Dizon, the INFJ boy next door. For you, your NI right now is expressing as the 9 of Swords. What's the 9 of Swords again, Rachel?
Anxiety.
Anxiety. You're worried if your
Sleepless
NI.
nights.
sleepless nights. Your NI is providing you worry. You're realizing truths that aren't so comfortable, perhaps. Your FE, though, that is the moon.
Mm-hmm.
It's where your intuition is successful. It's why that lady is sitting there gazing lovingly at you. So whereas intuition by itself produces for you anxiety, intuition with extroverted feeling produces results, although they're kind of moon-like results. Meaning-based results, not necessarily realized in the physical world. Now, third, your TI. When everything makes good logical sense, well, that's when you're feeling like you're at dinner with Jesus. You got the moon in check, it's doing its thing. You got your anxiety down in check because you're combining with the FE, and you also got TI in the mix, and everything makes good sense. Well, that's when you're feeling like, oh yeah, dinner with Jesus. All right, now this one, SE. Four of Pentacles. What's this one again?
That's like holding your possessions, holding your things close to your chest.
Okay. So I think this is what it's telling you is you need to be in possession of your doing of shit, but don't try to do four different things at once. Okay. Don't try to step on one thing, step on another thing, and hold one thing with one hand and hold. Just do your do. Don't intuit too much about it. You got four different things going on at once. Extroverted intuition is the doorway to a better future. The doorway to all sorts of fun things. The doorway away from anxiety of NI, because we really feel peaceful, good when we're in on good relations with our fifth slot function values. Now, FI for you is just too many possibilities and no good choices. So you don't tend to apply it to your own life. You just demonstrate it for other people so that you can use your FE more effectively. This is the odd one. Polar TE, but it's the Ace of Pentacles. What's the Ace of Pentacles again?
It's like a new business idea.
Okay.
That you can create money for you.
So I think what this stresses is that your TE is always going to be in its infancy. Don't expect it to produce a lot beyond that. It never really gets past Ace, And then lastly, your SI. What's this one?
Harmony.
This is a way to harmony with your NI. This is a way to get relaxed and stuff. You need to get in touch with your SI, in touch with your sleep habits, your eating and drinking habits, and stuff like that. And also keep track of your schedule, stuff like that. And then you'll be in a place of harmony and less stress.
I like the way it looks.
Who's your favorite all-time player? Is that what you mean, IJ Lost? It's not hypothetical, Jason Blood. It's magical. I think I'm about ready to wrap this up.
That sounds good because I'm going to take my medicine soon.
Okay, cool. Then maybe we could listen to some book. Maybe while you take your medicine and stuff, I'll go check my dad for a few minutes too.
Okay.
See how his day was.
Yeah, that's
all right.
To do.
Thanks everybody for being here. You are loved.